Hey guys and gals, Undead. I want to talk today about patch 0.14 for Escape from Tarkov. I've mentioned loving Tarkov in the past, and this is probably the best wipe that we've ever had, content-wise and just performance-wise, and just so many other things are going right with this patch. There is some bad stuff, and I'm going to talk about that, but there is a majority good, and it's amazing. I made it to level 15. I made sure to make it to flea market before I actually spoke on the patch and the content itself, because when you reach flea market, the game finally opens itself up because you can actually purchase stuff and actually play around and do many different things. And by that point, you should have a good chunk of your hideout upgraded so you can actually modify weapons and stuff like that and make different things with the crafting system. They had a rocky start whenever the wipe actually dropped. Tarkov always does, and BSG always craps the bed because their servers are garbage. They're legitimately garbage. But it took me about 6 hours to actually download the patch, and I downloaded it while I was at work, came home, and started playing, and it's fantastic so far. The new map, Ground Zero, it's an amazing offshoot of Streets, but with the random landmines everywhere and the absolute garbage spawns that are on this map, it's kind of punishing. I know that they wanted the map to be kind of a beginner style map, but cramming all these mechanics into one map is not beginner friendly. It's not enjoyable at times when I'm spawning in and in less than 10 seconds, there's a 4-stack right over there getting ready to shoot me out of spawn because it spawns everybody on top of each other. This map should be strictly player versus scavs. That's it. There should be no other players on there but your squad, and that is it. After I've completed the beginner's tasks on this map, I don't plan on touching it again. Like, probably ever. It's a shame because it is a very well-designed map. BattleState Games has gotten way more detail-oriented with their maps as of late. Look at Streets. It is the most detailed map I've seen in any game ever. That's why it runs like crap, because there's so much to run here. I do find it funny that Ground Zero is, I think, a quarter the size of Streets, or like half the size of Streets, whatever it is. It still runs just as bad. Like, I don't understand that. It doesn't compute with me how it runs this bad. I am running a Ryzen 9 5950X, a 3080 Ti, 32 gigs of RAM, on a 1440p monitor, and the map looks great, but it runs like crap. I don't understand why that is. You see these streamers, oh, I'm getting 120 FPS consistently. No, you're not. There's no freaking way you are. I've seen people that are claiming that they're running this on a 2070 Super, and they're like, yeah, or 2080 Super, whichever one it is. Oh, I'm getting 120 frames. No, you're not. You're running your stuff on low. Your game looks like crap. Of course, you might get a couple more frames. But map is fantastic. It needs to be adjusted, especially the spawns. Just adjust the spawns. It'll be perfectly fine. And all the different locations in here, too, like with the landmines in the bathrooms and stuff like that, and in the, I think it's a random bank teller, it literally says on the wall, danger. Don't go there. There's a sign literally telling you that there's something there, or there's one thing, I forgot what it's like, some lab or something like that, where there's a bunch there, and on this map there's not many dead scavs. There's a lot of dead PMCs, and I highly encourage you to loot them because there is a lot of good stuff on those PMCs. My first raid in as a PMC, I found a Thor, and I'm not talking about, oh, just a little tiny Thor. No, I found a big Thor, one of the big Thor armors. I found M993. I have found a pair of Nods. I found an M4. I found all kind of cool stuff on these guys, and it's really nice to see. There were talks of like, oh, this map's not going to have that much loot because it's a beginner map. Not. Map's fantastic. It has lots of varied locations, but the spawns ruin it. Just because they wanted to put all the mechanics of this game in one location. I would not be surprised if eventually there are raiders and rogues spawning on this map just because. There's a grenade launcher and a machine gun, and I guarantee you they would put a rogue up there and just have him blasting you from 200 yards away before you can even see him. It's nice. The armor system. I hate it, but I also love it because armor is viable now. I have tanked so many chest shots with class 2 armor. It's insane. P.A.K.A.s and Karasas have been my best friend right now because I've taken buckshot to the chest and it just does nothing but blunt damage. It's amazing. I will say the armpit hitbox is a little bit annoying because scavs are programmed to shoot for the areas that you don't have armor. Like, if you're wearing a class 3 or above, it is in their programming to shoot you in the legs or arms. That's just how they are. Now, whenever I die from a scav, it's almost always to an armpit shot or getting shot in the legs. It's really not fun. It's kind of jank, but it is nice pissing off Chaz because I killed a level 37 last night, and where did I shoot him? Armpit. He was walking like this way, and I was standing this way. Just shot him in the side, hit him in the armpit. And I guarantee you he was pissed. Also, if you're level 37 and it is day 3, you are absolutely cheating. I looked the guy up. 57 KD. Dude's cheating. And he apparently had somehow ran 200 raids, and you're level 37. Pretty blatant there, bud. Speaking of that, they added a feature now where you can view other players' profiles. You can view like their loadouts. You can see their stats. And it makes it easier to call out blatant cheaters. And at the start of this wipe, there's been a lot of blatant cheaters. I've died probably 20, 30 times already. And I've had a decent amount of raids, though. And a lot of factory. Run a lot of factory because it's free gear and it's just, it's easy XP. It's blatant. It's very easy to call out cheaters. And the amount of times I've reported someone now for having a very sus KD with a stupid amount of raids and you're way too high of a level, it's very easy to report you now. One final thing on the armor system. I'm surprised BSG pulled this off because we know they are not great at doing complex things. They did it. They absolutely knocked it out of the park, and I can't wait to see more. They added new weapons in this game. I have not found any of them yet except this one little SMG style gun. I forgot what it's called. I'm still using like beginner level weapons because they're viable now with the new recoil system. All guns have had actual realistic recoil added to them. As someone who, I own an AR-15, as someone who has shot an AR-15 quite a lot, as someone who has shot an AK-47 quite a lot, someone who has shot shotguns quite a lot. Me and my buddies, we have shoot stuff day, and guns do not kick to the sky. They usually kick back, and they added actual realistic recoil now. The way the recoil used to work was your wrist was basically a hinge, and your gun would be going like this. Someone's going to make a GIF out of that, I hope. But now your gun actually goes back. The recoil is taken by your shoulder, not by your wrist and the gun going to the sky whenever you're shooting. It's nice. Even beginner level weapons like level 1 traders, scav guns with no attachments, they're viable. I ran around for the first day and a half with pretty much just a naked 8R with nothing on it. I would maybe slap a red dot, and it was viable. Every gun is viable, and I know a lot of Giga Chads are upset about that. Oh, it takes the skill out of the game. You shouldn't have to put 500,000 rubles of attachments on a gun to make it viable. I can get an M4 and slap a red dot and a grip on it, and I have a weapon that will carry me for a majority of my raids. There's nothing wrong with that. BSG had a massive W with this. And as I said, a lot of the bigger streamers are complaining about it because they can be challenged now. It's proven that a lot of them weren't as good as they think they were because they were relying on the attachments to do the work for them. Now you're finding people that are like me. I'm okay at the game, and I'm taking out high-level players with high-level gear. It's nice. The new quest system, they have forced you into ground zeros to start the quest now. You no longer have to go and find Jaeger and stuff for like your first couple of tasks. No, you unlock that after you've completed ground zeros. The tasks on ground zero are pretty much the exact same thing as we've expected from Tarkov. It's a fetch quest. You go grab this, bring it back. Oh, go find a bottle of wine for me. Go find this random dead scientist over here. But grab his key. You got to open the door, and there's apparently some other dead person upstairs. We've heard there's a machine gun and a grenade launcher on Ground Zeroes. We need to know about that. So go and look at it, and then come back and tell me a story. It's pretty much that. They have modified some early game quests, like Jaeger's quest now. I think instead of requiring either Amelia's or it's something else, it now requires you to find packs of ramen noodles as a part of it. Early game quests have become more tedious. They have locked more stuff behind level 2 traders. All Mosin ammo was locked behind traders now. That you can't use a Mosin by default, which I find incredibly dumb. It was one of the only easily accessible weapons early wipe for pretty much anyone, and they basically took that away from us. Although I think it's T45 1M ammo or something like that. I forgot the name of that round. That ammo is pretty easily accessible from pretty much everywhere, so you can run weapons that run that round instead of running a Mosin. It's nice. The AK style VPO it's pretty much my go-to right now. I wiped a 4-man with it last night. That gun, you just slap a red dot on it and call it good. Just put the 30-round mags. It's so good. Performance-wise, I want to talk about this. Certain maps tend to run better now. I actually went in and changed a bunch of my graphic settings. My game already looked realistic. Now I can see stuff more clearly. Everything looks and pops so much better. I don't know if they did lighting changes or what. I run a lot of Lighthouse as a scav, and I was walking around last night going, this looks insane. And that combined with now Tarkov is going to have seasons. It's snowing in Tarkov, which I never thought I would see. It is amazing how good this game looks with snow. Streets and Ground Zero look like The Division. It really does look like The Division. And The Division 2 is one of my most played games. So I was running around like, please add this to The Division 2. I played a lot of The Division 1 when it came out. And it looks incredible. Woods looks so good with snow on it. It really does. My only thing is, the footsteps in the snow itself is a little loud. You need to lower it by about 5 to 6 decibels. Because as someone who has walked in deep snow before, it's not that loud. It's really not that loud. Unless it has been -20 and that stuff is frozen solid, snow is not that loud. And considering the snow on the ground in this game is maybe that deep, it should not be that loud. I was playing Woods last night and I heard someone, I was next to Spine and I heard someone running up from med camp. They're probably 100 yards away from me, and I heard them crunching through the snow. It needs to be lowered just a little bit. Other map updates. Shoreline has been updated. It is still one of my most hated maps, but it is actually playable now. They added new locations. They changed the location of a couple quest items, like the motor controllers and stuff like that, and the UAVs. They added a farm to it. They added more rocks and cover to open areas, so you're basically not just a baby buffalo roaming across a field. It's a viable map now. And speaking of that, how in the world is it that because there's snow in the game now, I'm getting another 25 frames on streets? I average between 60 and 72 frames on streets. Why am I getting upper 90s at times on like a good raid? And that's in online with a packed out raid. I don't understand this. Just all I'm gonna say is praise Unity, because something's happening. Overall, this wipe has been fun so far. I can't wait to play more. I'm actually about to go on a mini vacation, and I cannot wait to come back. I'm upset that I'm going on vacation, but I'm very happy with BSG, and they need to keep this momentum going. This is the kind of content that we wanted. Yesterday, I finally got access to Arena. It took over a week and a half, bro, for something I paid $150 for. They finally opened it to everyone. I don't care. I have no interest in playing Arena. Simple as that. I'm too busy playing the actual wipe, and from how unbalanced and how boring Arena itself looks, I have no interest in playing it. I don't care about it. But that's pretty much it. They added a bunch of stuff. I've only played a bit of Streets. I have not used the BTR yet. I cannot wait to see how broken that thing is going to be. And when people get their weapons up high enough to be calling in the Goon Squad and Zerachi for support, I already hate getting shot by the absolute broken AI of bosses. And speaking of that, whenever I have a scav with a long range option like a Mosin or a Vepr Hunter or something like that, I usually go rogue hunting. It is really annoying sniping a rogue at the front gate who the rogues on building 2 and 3 cannot even see, and getting swarmed by them. That needs to be addressed ASAP. AI in general in this game needs to be addressed ASAP. Scavs are way too powerful. They're supposed to be drunk hobos with guns that barely function, and I'm getting mapped by a PPSH. Or they're somehow... You'll get shot at by a scav and go and pick up their gun, and their gun is on 30% durability. Like, their spread pattern is like this. They shouldn't be able to hit you. So I would like to see AI addressed. I mean, not make them completely dumb, but just dial it back a bit, because it's kind of unforgiving to die to something you can't control. I know they want aspects of randomness in this game, and they want you to have random deaths because it keeps the game fresh. But at the end of the day, it does nothing but upset your player base, and it just proves that, like I say with Destiny, it's not difficult, it's just tedious. Have you noticed I have not talked about left-hand peeking? I've used it once. It's cool, sure, but right-hand peek is still superior, so I'm just going to use that. I actually put my keybind for that on the side of my mouse so I can swap. I have my scope zoom and left-hand shoulder swap. It's a cool feature. It looks kind of awkward, though, because normally you hold your gun like this. I mean, he's doing like this to shoot around corners. It looks kind of weird. New blind fire animation. We had vaulting added into there, and I've already pretty much broken that, because you can get into multiple marked rooms with vaulting. You can get into the Bloody Rusty Key room on Streets with vaulting. You can get into many marked rooms and locked rooms on Shoreline in the resort. And it's another thing about Streets and about Ground Zeroes now. If there's a door with a glass pane and one little bar going through it for like support, you can walk through that entire door. Like, I've had scavs creep up on me. I've had players come up to me because they just walk through it. You can do that on Shoreline right now. You don't need keys for a majority of the actual, like, building style doors on the rooms with balconies. You can just walk right through them or vault over them. And buddy of mine found a LEDX last night. He was streaming to us. You open one room in resort, and if they're linked to a balcony, you can just vault over the balcony and just go and unlock every room. He even got into rooms you weren't supposed to be in that were permanently locked. And there are loot spawns in there. So I found that to be incredibly funny. It's not cheating. It's not an exploit. It's a glitch. Can't get upset for glitches. But so far, the patch is amazing. I can't wait to play more. I'm proud of BSG. They rolled this out, had a rocky start, but I am very confident, and I know I might eat my words eventually in this company to see that they're going to do some pretty big things coming this year. They've said they're going to be redoing the graphics engine for the game, making the game look prettier, making it run better. The game already looks good. Just optimize it. Like, I shouldn't have to have a NASA supercomputer, and I have just shy of that, and the game performs like crap. Yet I can go and run pretty much any other game ever, getting 130 to 140 frames. I'm maxing out my monitor's frame rate. Yet this game runs like caca. So that's just me. But I can't wait to see what they do. Very happy. But yeah, that's about it. That's my review so far for patch 0.14 for Escape from Tarkov. I may have missed a couple things, but then again, I'm still low level. I'm still grinding. I haven't interacted with everything, and I'm broke. So there's that. But anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this, a like and a sub is always appreciated. I might try to cover more Tarkov content because I really do love this game. I don't love the company, but I really do love the game. That's for now, guys. Stay safe. See y'all later. Peace.